Can you believe it? Jasmine just dropped the bomb that's shaking the entire 90-day Fiancé universe. Live on Instagram, she said she would never marry Matt. Yes, the same Matt she's been posting couple pics with, calling her rock, and raising a child with. You read that right. A woman publicly obsessed with him, yet refusing to say I do? It's shocking, confusing, and absolutely explosive. I'm Jessica from Reality Spots, and welcome back. Hit that subscribe button if you want all the juiciest reality tea, and make sure to drop your thoughts in the comments, because trust me, you're going to have a lot to say after this. Let's unpack this. On the surface, it looks like a total contradiction. How can someone be so loving, so affectionate, so publicly committed, and still refuse marriage? Jasmine posts romantic captions, shares family moments, and yet, when it comes to the legal commitment, she draws the line. And that line is not casual. It's a hard stop. She's telling the world she's crossed it. The stakes are massive. Jasmine and Matt share a child together. They're building a life. They're planning a future. And yet, Jasmine refuses to make it official. Meanwhile, she's still legally tied to her ex-husband Gino. The divorce is dragging on, leaving her in a strange limbo. On paper, she's married to one man. In life, she's committed to another. And the public is watching every move. That alone is enough to make anyone pause. But Jasmine is doing more than pausing. She's shouting a hard truth. So why now? After all the love, after months of Instagram posts showing a seemingly perfect family life, after sharing a child with Matt, why drop this bomb publicly? Something happened. Something crossed Jasmine's boundaries so severely that even her deep love for Matt couldn't override it. The audience doesn't know the full story yet, and that's exactly what's keeping everyone glued. And here's the twist. It's not just about love, or a bad day, or some minor fight. Sources and patterns suggest Matt allegedly did something significant, something that hit Jasmine at a very personal, emotional level. Enough to make her question the foundation of their relationship, enough to refuse marriage despite all appearances. What was it? We don't know yet, but the anticipation is killing everyone. Jasmine's statement wasn't subtle or fleeting. She made it clear she's not scared to stand in front of the world and set boundaries, even if it makes her the center of controversy. She's showing that love alone isn't always enough, and trust is not something you casually hand over. The real question now is, what exactly did Matt do to push Jasmine to this point? And how will it change everything between them moving forward? This is where the drama begins. And trust me, it's only getting started before we even get to Matt. We have to rewind to Gino, because Jasmine's past is the lens through which every decision she makes is filtered. Her marriage to Gino wasn't a fairy tale. It was intense, volatile, and filled with betrayals that left scars deep enough to shape her trust in anyone moving forward. We're talking jealousy that exploded over small things, arguments that escalated to full-blown fights, and moments that would make anyone question whether love could survive. Gino's actions weren't always obvious to the cameras, but the emotional toll on Jasmine was visible in every glance, every pause, and every sigh caught on tape. The betrayal wasn't abstract. There were moments that shook her to the core, like discovering Gino's deceit in ways that felt almost personal, almost calculated. She carried those wounds forward. Every relationship afterward had to contend with the echoes of that pain. So when Matt entered her life, he wasn't just competing with someone else. He was stepping into the shadow of Gino's betrayal. Every move, every word, every hesitation from him would be measured against a history of heartbreak. And that's exactly why Jasmine is so careful, so cautious, so selective with her vulnerability. With Matt, she wasn't reckless. She didn't throw herself into the deep end blindly. She observed, she tested, she felt, and only then did she begin to let him in. Her Instagram love posts? They're the surface. Beneath that is a woman constantly calculating, weighing, and protecting herself from repeating old mistakes. Love is present, but so is caution. And that tension fuels every decision she makes. Which brings us to the question everyone is asking. Is she overprotecting herself, or is she simply a survivor? When someone has been hurt as profoundly as Jasmine was, extreme care isn't dramatic. It's survival instinct. Every hesitation about Matt isn't a rejection of him. It's a shield forged in fire, a way to ensure she won't get blindsided again. It's the reason she refused to marry him publicly despite deep affection. Trust isn't easy for her. It's not a checkbox or a social expectation. It's a currency she spends only when she's absolutely certain it won't be wasted. But here's where it gets complicated. Even with her caution, something happened with Matt that shook her in a way that echoes the old betrayals. Something that makes us wonder if history is repeating itself. Was it a text that crossed the line? A secret he kept? Or was it a promise broken in a way only she could feel, deep in her bones? Whatever it wasn't minor, it wasn't fleeting. And it's not just speculation. Observers and insiders suggest there was a moment, behind the camera, private, significant, that left Jasmine reeling. Enough to make her reconsider everything about their relationship, even after months of careful trust building. It's this shadow of the past colliding with present events that makes her Instagram live revelation so powerful. She isn't dramatic for attention. She's acting from experience, from lessons carved into her very sense of self. And the public sees affection, but the private caution? That's the tension driving this story. And it's what makes the audience ask, is she overprotecting herself? Or is Matt really stepping over a line no one else sees? And here's the real cliffhanger. Whatever Matt allegedly did, it wasn't a small misstep. It hit a nerve, a place only Jasmine knows exists. And it's the reason she refused to marry him despite every apparent sign of love. The past isn't just backstory here. It's an active force shaping every reaction, every choice, and every public statement. Jasmine isn't just living in the moment. She's carrying every betrayal, every heartbreak, every lesson forward. And that's why this story is far more than just reality TV drama. Matt seemed like the safe harbor Jasmine had been searching for after stormy waters with Gino. He offered stability when her world had been anything but steady. He was reliable, attentive, and appeared to provide the kind of support she never had before. On screen, he was the calm in the chaos, the partner who didn't escalate arguments or weaponize emotions. That's why, at first glance, their relationship seemed perfect. Two people finding solace in each other after heartbreak. But appearances can be deceiving. Beneath the surface of posts, captions, and family photos lies the tension between Jasmine's love and her survival instincts. Every smile in public, every kiss, every sweet moment captured online is accompanied by caution, hesitation, and a private ledger of what she will or will not tolerate. It's a delicate balance. Jasmine's love for Matt is deep, genuine, and visible, but it's tethered to rules she's built from years of past pain. How can she love so profoundly and still refuse to marry him? How can someone dedicate herself to raising a child, sharing a home, and publicly celebrating a relationship, yet draw a hard line at saying I do? That contradiction is at the core of this drama. Matt might be her partner, her co-parent, her confidant, but Jasmine's trust is not something she hands over lightly. Every affection, every social media post, every romantic gesture is measured against the invisible standard set by Gino's betrayals. And here's where the alleged betrayal comes in. Sources suggest that Matt crossed a boundary, a moment significant enough to shake Jasmine's sense of security. We don't know all the details, but insiders hint at a private incident, something she felt keenly, deeply, and personally. That moment, whatever it was, forced her to confront a question she hadn't imagined having to ask herself again. Can I trust him fully? Or is this history repeating itself? Wait till we reveal the exact turning point that left Jasmine questioning everything about Matt. The public sees a picture-perfect family, cuddles with the baby, coordinated outfits, loving captions. It looks effortless. But the private reality? It's layered, nuanced, and fraught with complexity. Every affectionate gesture is balanced by an internal checklist. Jasmine's mind constantly weighs loyalty, transparency, and risk. Her love is visible, but her instincts for self-preservation are invisible to everyone except those closest to her. Matt's role in this tension is fascinating. He's neither villain nor flawless hero. He's human. And human relationships are messy. His stability is undeniable, but if there's even the slightest slip, a misstep, a hidden truth, a perceived betrayal, Jasmine's reaction is fierce, immediate, and protective. She's a woman who loves intensely, yes, but she also refuses to surrender herself entirely when trust has been compromised. This dynamic makes every post, every public smile, and every moment they share loaded with meaning. Fans can see the affection, but only Jasmine truly knows the weight behind each choice. Her hesitation isn't weakness, it's strategy, a form of self-preservation learned the hard way. The paradox of loving deeply while refusing marriage is what keeps this story alive, what keeps the audience debating, and what sets the stage for the next shocking revelation in their tangled saga. The moment Jasmine declared she would never marry Matt, the internet exploded. Fans flooded social media with theories, accusations, and endless speculation. Some whispered she and Matt were secretly married already, despite her claims. Others questioned whether the divorce with Gino was taking longer than she admitted, suggesting she might be bending the truth. And of course, the financial angle couldn't be ignored. Were there hidden motives, money disputes, or logistical complications fueling her refusal? But here's the thing. When you zoom out from the drama and focus on behavior instead of rumors, patterns emerge. Jasmine isn't unpredictable for the sake of chaos. Her actions follow a logic rooted in past trauma and cautious trust. She loves publicly, posts family moments, raises a child, and yet she guards her deepest commitments like they're priceless. Every affectionate post isn't a contradiction. It's a controlled release, a way to balance her vulnerability with protection. Fans often overlook that her hesitation could stem from instinct, not manipulation. Every time she hesitates, questions, or even pulls back, she's likely weighing loyalty, transparency, and risk. That doesn't mean Matt did nothing wrong. Sources hint at private moments that shook her trust, but it also doesn't mean she's playing a game for attention. She's acting in a way that history taught her was necessary to survive emotionally. Some counterpoints are worth considering. Maybe she's overprotective because past betrayals left deep scars. Maybe Matt did something that crossed an invisible line, leaving her shaken in ways we'll never see publicly. Or maybe it's a mix of both. Love intertwined with caution, affection balanced against trauma. Either way, the behavioral patterns tell a story more compelling than any online rumor mill. Social media buzz only intensifies as clips, screenshots, and comments multiply. Theories collide, and everyone wants answers yesterday. But the truth? It's behind the cameras, in private conversations, in moments that viewers don't get to witness. And that's exactly what keeps fans coming back, refreshing timelines and arguing in comment threads. The public spectacle is loud, dramatic, and full of opinions. But the real story, the one that explains Jasmine's choice, is still hidden from view. The tension between perception and reality, public posts, and private emotion keeps this saga alive. Everyone wants closure, but the actual answers will only surface when Jasmine is ready to share them. Until then, the mystery deepens and the fandom spins on, desperate to connect the dots. Jasmine's story is a study in contradictions. She showers Matt with affection, writes heartfelt captions, raises their child together, and publicly praises him. Yet, when it comes to marriage, she draws a firm line. On the surface, it seems puzzling. How can someone love so intensely, dedicate themselves to a shared life, and still refuse the ultimate commitment? The answer lies in understanding trust as a currency and marriage as the moment when that currency is spent fully with no safety net. For Jasmine, love isn't just feelings, it's a measured risk. Every smile, every family photo, every post of joy is visible proof of her devotion. But marriage, that's the ultimate gamble. Saying I do is handing over your deepest vulnerability to someone else. After the betrayal she endured with Gino, Jasmine isn't reckless with her heart. Every decision she makes now is weighed against the possibility of being hurt again. Her refusal isn't a rejection of Matt. It's a signal that trust hasn't been fully restored, that the line between love and self-preservation is razor thin. This creates a paradox. She's affectionate, loving, committed in many ways, yet cautious. Is this refusal a sign of wisdom, born from learning the hard way? Is it the echo of trauma that makes her pause before leaping? Or is it pure self-preservation, a survival instinct honed over years of emotional battles? Each interpretation carries weight, and each one fuels the suspense that surrounds her relationship. Fans can debate all they want, but the truth lies in Jasmine's lived experience. Her emotions are layered, her reactions are calculated but authentic, and her love is undeniable. Yet the boundaries she sets are firm because she knows that some risks are too high, even for love. That tension between devotion and fear is what makes her story so gripping, relatable, and volatile at the same time. Retention booster. And here's the kicker. Whatever Matt allegedly did is the turning point that pushed her to say no to marriage. The tell-all promises to finally expose the moment that tested the limits of her love, trust, and resilience. It's the secret that explains why a woman capable of so much devotion could also draw the line so sharply, leaving everyone guessing until the cameras roll. The paradox of love and fear isn't just drama, it's a human story, a reflection of how past wounds shape present choices and how the heart can hold both trust and caution at the same time. Jasmine's story isn't just about her love life. It's about family, and the stakes couldn't be higher. She's preparing to bring her sons to the U.S., a massive life change that involves trust, responsibility, and legal complications. Matt is stepping into the role of their father, a permanent legal bond that ties him to Jasmine's children forever. Yet, despite this lifelong connection, she still refuses to marry him. That contrast is what makes this situation so compelling and so complicated. Raising children with someone you love but haven't fully committed to through marriage is a tightrope act. Every decision carries weight. Jasmine isn't just thinking about herself. She's thinking about her sons, their safety, their emotional well-being, and how this new family dynamic will shape their lives. Matt may be a stable presence, but even stability can't erase the caution she's learned from past betrayals. Every step toward a shared future is calculated, and every public gesture hides a private tension. This dynamic fuels endless audience curiosity. How does Jasmine balance her affection for Matt with her instincts to protect herself and her children? How does she navigate being emotionally devoted while also maintaining boundaries? The answers aren't simple because in her world, love, caution, and responsibility coexist uneasily. She can love fiercely, be emotionally present, and still say no to marriage if she believes the risk is too high. Her approach to parenting highlights her careful mindset. She's willing to forge legal bonds, to trust Matt with her children's lives, and to take steps that many couples would consider equivalent to full commitment. But she does it on her terms. Every action is measured against a history of heartbreak and lessons learned the hard way. That means affection doesn't equal vulnerability without protection. And trust is earned through consistency, not words. The emotional weight of this decision is immense. Raising children in a blended household is hard enough, but doing it while managing a relationship laden with suspicion, history, and public scrutiny is a different level of challenge. Jasmine's story reminds us that love isn't always straightforward, and responsibility often forces tough choices that might confuse outsiders but make perfect sense to those living it. And just when it seems like the family's path is set, the tension between devotion, protection, and legal obligations escalates, setting the stage for the shocking revelation in the upcoming tell-all that will leave fans questioning everything. Even before Jasmine went public with her refusal to marry Matt, those closest to her noticed subtle shifts. Friends started pointing out hesitancy in her voice during casual conversations, small pauses that weren't there before, and a guardedness that felt uncharacteristic. The posts she shared with Matt became less frequent, and the captions less intimate. The smiles were still there, but the spontaneity was missing. It wasn't obvious at first, but for those paying attention, these were warning signs that something deeper was brewing behind the camera. Behavioral cues often speak louder than words. Jasmine, known for wearing her heart on her sleeve, was suddenly pulling back. She wasn't yelling, she wasn't publicly accusing anyone, and she wasn't creating drama online. But her quiet retreat told a different story. It was pain expressed through restraint. Each skipped post, each delayed response, each small hesitation in her tone reflected an internal weighing of risks, trust, and safety. These are the moments fans rarely see, but they reveal the emotional calculus driving her decisions. It's fascinating how her actions contrast with her public persona. On Instagram, she appears affectionate, devoted, and in control of her family narrative. Off camera, though, the emotional tension is palpable. She's carefully navigating love, commitment, and self-protection simultaneously. Every choice, from how she interacts with Matt to how she manages her children, is layered with consideration, history, and caution. This is a woman who has experienced betrayal before, and she knows how quickly trust can be shattered. And just when you think you understand her, Jasmine drops another bomb that shocks everyone around her. Those closest to her describe moments where she would pull away in silence, not out of anger, but from deep, quiet pain. Nonverbal cues, tightened shoulders, averted eyes, short sighs, spoke volumes. Even the way she managed routine discussions with Matt revealed subtle tension, a silent signal that her boundaries had been crossed or at least tested. The viewers didn't see it. Social media didn't reveal it, but the people in her life felt the shift immediately. Conflict was brewing off camera, hidden behind stage smiles and carefully curated family snapshots. The stakes were high, not just emotionally, but legally and socially. Every decision she made impacted not only her relationship with Matt, but also her children, her legal obligations, and her public image. It's a delicate dance of transparency and protection, love and caution. Fans could only guess at the full story, while Jasmine navigated this private turbulence with remarkable restraint. The tension simmering behind the scenes created the perfect storm for the Instagram Live reveal. What looked like a sudden, shocking statement to the public was actually the culmination of weeks, maybe months, of private calculation, small signs, and mounting unease. And that's what makes this story so compelling. The public explosion is only half the narrative. The real drama exists in the quiet, unseen moments that shaped her ultimate decision. The moment Jasmine publicly said she would never marry Matt left fans stunned. Behind that statement lies a story of alleged betrayal, a moment that crossed an invisible line and shook her to the core. What exactly happened is still under wraps, but the impact is clear. A woman who loves fiercely, dedicates herself fully, and builds a life with her partner suddenly pulls back from the ultimate commitment. It's a collision of heart and instinct, love and self-preservation. Matt may still be her partner, her co-parent, her confidant, but something, allegedly, made Jasmine draw a firm boundary. What could it be? Was it a hidden secret, a broken promise, or a lapse in judgment that contradicted the trust she had painstakingly rebuilt? The truth isn't public yet, but the ripple effect is visible everywhere. In hesitations, in quiet pauses, in the subtle ways she navigates her relationship now. Despite the alleged betrayal, love hasn't disappeared. She continues to nurture her children with Matt, celebrate family moments, and post affectionately online. That's the complexity of this saga. Love and grief coexist. Loyalty and caution coexist. Jasmine's emotional intelligence allows her to balance devotion with protection. But the weight of the past informs every choice she makes today. Fans are torn. Some wonder if she overreacted. Others think the alleged action was serious enough to justify her refusal. How do you reconcile a heart that still loves with an instinct that refuses vulnerability? How do you support a partner publicly while privately drawing hard lines? These are the questions fueling endless discussions in comment sections, social media threads, and fan communities. Multiple plausible theories swirl. Maybe Matt broke a promise. Maybe he concealed something significant. Maybe it's a misstep that most wouldn't understand without context, but each one points back to the same truth. Jasmine's reaction is rooted in lived experience, not drama. The emotional fallout is palpable. Jasmine carries grief for what could have been, frustration at the rupture of trust, and fear of repeating past mistakes. Yet she remains resolute. Saying no to marriage is not rejection, it's protection. A conscious choice to honor her boundaries while still navigating love and family life. The tension is raw, the stakes high, and every gesture is weighted with history and hope. And just when fans think they've pieced together the puzzle, the upcoming tell-all promises to reveal the exact moment and the specific action that led Jasmine to make this heartbreaking yet deliberate decision. It could finally explain everything. And it's the secret the audience has been dying to uncover. This alleged betrayal and its fallout create a story that isn't just dramatic, it's deeply human, showing the collision of trust, love, and survival instincts in real time. On Instagram, Jasmine appears radiant, affectionate, and fully devoted. Family photos, heartfelt captions, and a post with Matt and their children paint the picture of a happy, stable life. She praises Matt, celebrates milestones, and shares moments that make fans feel like they're watching a storybook family unfold. Yet, behind the posts, the private reality is far more complex. Hesitations linger in her voice, subtle pauses betray doubt, and actions hint at boundaries that the public cannot see. Jasmine has never been the type to hide her emotions. When she's happy, the joy is undeniable. When she's hurt, the pain seeps through, even in silence. This transparency makes her public and private selves entwined, yet paradoxical. Fans are invited to witness her devotion, her parenting, her love, but they are also left to puzzle over her refusal to marry Matt. The affection is real, the commitment is real, and the loyalty is real, but the line she refuses to cross highlights an instinct for self-protection that is just as real. The tension between public display and private truth is what keeps viewers captivated. Devotion and refusal exist side by side, creating a story that is emotional, relatable, and unpredictable. She doesn't put on a front, yet every post and interaction carries layers of meaning. Fans can speculate endlessly, but the paradox, the simultaneous display of love and refusal of formal commitment, is the emotional heartbeat of this narrative. In Jasmine's world, love isn't casual, and trust isn't automatic. Her life is lived openly, yet the boundaries she sets privately show how past experiences shape present decisions. The audience sees both the affection and the conflict, making her story compelling, tense, and unforgettable. And just when you think you understand her, the upcoming tell-all is set to reveal how this public-private tension reached a breaking point that nobody saw coming. Jasmine's story isn't just reality TV drama, it's a window into how past trauma shapes present choices. Her love for Matt is undeniable. She cares for him, raises their child with him, and maintains a public display of affection that signals commitment. Yet behind the scenes, she protects herself fiercely. Every decision she makes is informed by experience, caution, and a deep understanding of her emotional boundaries. Love and protection coexist, and for Jasmine, they are inseparable. Her refusal to marry doesn't diminish her devotion. It amplifies the seriousness with which she treats trust. Marriage isn't simply a ceremony for her. It's the ultimate vulnerability, the moment when all defenses are down. After what she endured with Gino, she isn't willing to hand over her heart lightly. This isn't about drama, attention, or indecision. It's about wisdom, caution, and the instinct to safeguard herself and her children. Fans can see the love, but her inner calculus remains private, a mix of instinct, reflection, and emotional intelligence. Jasmine's story invites reflection. How would you respond if your past heartbreak collided with present love? Could you maintain affection, loyalty, and partnership while guarding your boundaries fiercely? Her behavior highlights the reality that deep love doesn't always mean blind trust, and intense devotion doesn't erase the lessons learned from betrayal. It's a balancing act that few outsiders fully grasp. Yet it resonates because it's profoundly human. The paradox she embodies, devotion paired with refusal, love paired with caution, is a lesson in emotional honesty. She models a way to navigate relationships that honors both heart and self-preservation, showing that boundaries aren't barriers, but protective tools that shape healthy love. Observing her choices teaches us to respect emotional intelligence, even when the decisions are painful or confusing to others. And just when it feels like all questions might remain unanswered, the upcoming tell-all promises to deliver the revelation behind Jasmine's refusal, finally shedding light on the exact moment that changed everything, and giving the audience the clarity they've been waiting for. Jasmine's journey is messy, emotional, and raw, but it's real. Love doesn't erase pain, and devotion doesn't override self-protection. Her story reminds us that navigating relationships with wisdom, courage, and awareness is often more complex than the fairy tale version we see on screen.